Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Welcome back to The Excommunicated. I'm Stu, and today we're going to be talking about the short film I made called Tether, and I made it in 7 days. That's 8 days right there, but that's not the amount. It's like this many days. Why did I do this? Well, because I wanted to do stuff, and I like making things, and sometimes if I don't give myself a strict deadline, it takes me forever. So I thought 7 days is a good time, because that's right around when Halloween would happen. On the 8th day, when I had to upload it and get it ready, do it all thing, but 7 days up until then, just so it sounds kind of nice. And specifically, it wasn't making an animated short film. I don't know. Honestly, this was kind of like a really gray zone, something I'd never really done before. And I just thought, I write short stories all the time, I write short films. I think I can make one that's short enough for me to actually go and draw all the pages for it, or all the shots and everything. And so that's what I decided to do. So follow me in this wild ride as I do something stupid for 7 days. So day one started with me basically just writing the script. You know what I mean? Here's the thing, and here's what I did. When I started this journey, I basically just started writing it. I had a few different ideas that I wanted to go for, specifically that I had written shorts about before. And the only problem with those is that usually for short films, you got anywhere between 1 page to about 20 pages. And that's usually how it goes. And if you don't know, there's a rule in screenwriting that every page equals about a minute of screen time. So if I had a 20-page script, that's about 20 pages. I mean, if I had 20, yeah, that's right. So if I had basically 20 pages of a script written, that amount to roughly 20 minutes of runtime. Sometimes it's more, sometimes less, depending on how many action you got or how much dialogue you have. If you're writing a comedy script, or specifically sitcoms, every 2 pages is 1 minute, because there's a lot of jokes you have to get through. So that's roughly how those are divested. So, believe me or don't believe me, it's entirely your choice, but that is how I believe industry standard usually is. So for this one, I had a few different scripts, and I thought, okay, we're not going to do those too long. They don't fit, and I wanted to make something specific for Halloween. So I had a short film that I made called Tether. I had written it, directed it, filmed it, did the whole thing. Got my friend Danny and my friend Ross to come in. So Danny Hernandez and Ross Kindred, by the way. Check them out. They have their own stuff that they go. And we made it, and it just wasn't that good. It wasn't that great. I had tried to be too funny with it, because like I had done a lot of shorts with my friend Danny where we were making more of a comedy, and when I knew he was on board, I was like, oh, I should make this more of a comedy. Not a good choice, because it made it not great. But maybe one day I'll go back and try to re-edit it. So I knew that I was kind of out of the play as far as like doing that one. But I could maybe take the script and just make it a short. But I was like, no, you know what? Maybe I'll do something with this one day, so I won't touch it. But I did like the idea of Tether, and I did like the idea of the ghost that I designed and made for it. So I thought maybe I'll do something else instead. I had originally based Tether on this comic book series I wanted to do, maybe a series of movies, we'll see, about a girl named Sam, specifically Sam Sara, and she was an African-American girl who could see ghosts and kind of had to deal with that ghost culture, and specifically my type of ghost, and how I thought it would be kind of fun. And I was like, okay, maybe I can make part of a story and do as a little tiny little sliver short, and it'd be a good nice test run to see how that would work. As far as story goes, it was pretty simple. I knew I wanted to do her doing like nice explaining about like what the world is like in this kind of like VHS style scene. So that's the prologue, and then we get to classroom, and then we get to the principal's office when she gets in trouble, and then the ghost stuff starts happening, and she gets chased, and there's like a whole ghost segment there that culminates in the gym. And I knew that was what I wanted, so I based it off of those locations. I was like, okay, cool. I don't have to draw too many locations. I don't have to make it too complicated. Basically, just make it as simple as I possibly can. Now, could I have drawn this all in one location? Sure. Could I have made it all just like one or two characters? Sure, but I definitely wanted to feel like it was more alive. So I think the framework that I have now works, and there's only a couple characters. So we have Sam herself, we have the teacher that talks for a little bit, and we have the student that she gets an altercation with, and we have the principal. That's pretty much it. So 4 main characters that have any kind of dialogue. Of course, it's the ghost segment, which, whatever. So our 4 main actors, we're going to be Vale doing Sam's voice, me doing the teacher and the classmate that she gets in trouble with, and my mom coming in to do the principal. I have a few different acting friends and stuff like that, but during the strike, the actor strike, which is still going on, by the way, as the time of me filming this and me having made this short film, I didn't want to bug them, because I didn't want to like put them in a weird situation where it's like, hey, you want to do my little short thing? So I just thought, let's just do it our own stuff. It's my thing. It's not whatever whatever, it's just gonna be for me. After having finished the script, I went through it and I did this. I put it together. I did a little storyboard. I did little thumbnail sketches for every single shot I would think I would need, and thankfully I cut it from 8 to 6 pages because my God, that would have been way more. This is roughly about 98 shots, I believe. This is not a template. I just kind of just did this really quickly. So if you guys want to do your own, it's very simple. You just, you know, draw a bunch of lines and then you draw a bunch of other lines and then you cut them into shots. There's probably easier ways to do this. I use a graph, very simple, not too complicated. But this is honestly a heaven sent because when you're making an animated project, you definitely want to make sure you're not drawing too many shots unnecessarily, and that you have more shots than you have about as many shots as you need. And me having this visual aid actually helped very much so moving forward, because then I could just, you know, go in there and I could just blow up the shot and I can just kind of trace it roughly, or at least be inspired by the framing, and I would get to go in this and I wouldn't have to like figure out the framing and everything therein. So that's the end of day 1, got that done. It felt really great, felt awesome. And day 2 rolls around, we got 13 to 15 shots done. I'm feeling really happy. I think I did the first like ghost story and I did a little bit of the classroom stuff, nothing too crazy, just kind of getting some nice shots done, and I felt really good and I was feeling fantastic. We got the shots done, I'm feeling great. Things are going fantastic, what could ever go wrong? And then day 3 rolls around. So day 3, and we see the teacher and her in the same shot, and then we see the altercation here. I think I got about down to where the guy grabs the book. 4 shots done on day 3. I had done more shots, but they did not look good, and I was very unhappy with the way I was drawing, because I felt like, Jesus, no one's gonna like this because this shot is so bad. People are gonna say the art is bad. People are not gonna like the way that Sam came together, and it was this huge struggle for me personally, and I just wasn't liking it, and all I could do was just lay down on my bed and cry. Day 4 rolled around, and that's what I did. I basically looked at different images of African-American women, and I kind of just started drawing both the hairstyles and the face shapes and kind of like their bodies and kind of how they move, and that was really fun and good, but the problem with that was that it still felt very stiff. I don't know why. There's this thing called writer's block, or if you're not a writer, creative block, I guess. And it's basically when you reach an impasse where you're just not feeling like anything is going well. And I was really worried that I had drawn some really great drawings before I started this project, and I was thinking like maybe that was like just a really good momentum kind of thing, and now I was reaching kind of a rut in the middle of my 7-day challenge, and it was rough. But I told myself, look, we just got to get this done. Worst comes to worst, you know, I just don't do this. And day 4, I was very much in the dumps and feeling like I might not finish this project. I said, okay, you know what, day 5, just draw whatever, just don't give a shit. So I thought day 5 comes around, just don't care, just draw it, get it done. Let's just have this thing finished either way. Day 5, I think I got about like 26 to 30 panels done. So I went from these ones where the guy grabs the drawing, the bully guy, and then I did his shots, and I really found my groove here. I felt like, you know what, maybe if I base a character on a specific color set, so specifically for him was like a yellow orange, and I thought, let's do that. And it worked so well. I was so enamored by this color style, and I thought it was really fun because maybe it was a way of expressing how Sam could kind of feel their aura or their ghost interior kind of souls or whatever. And this was really fun. Honestly, where she goes and punches the guy, that was a fun shot to do. And then we got powered through that, did to finish the classroom stuff. We started getting into the principal scene. And for the principal scene, I actually got through the whole thing. I think we did about 26 to 30 shots in this entire thing, and I felt great. I was so happy. Things were coming together. While not each shot was super well done, I kept thinking to myself, who cares? If she looks a little weird, it is what it is. Just move on, just push through it, and that's exactly what I did. Day 6 rolls around, and guess what? We do even more shots, boy! So day 5 had ended with me, with her walking outside of the principal's office after like pissing her off, and you know, she takes a seat, and so we start from her taking a seat, and then she realizes that the sounds of the school rally died down. She's like, what's that? So she decides to get up and look at what goes on. Yeah, so day 6 starts with her looking down and seeing her hand and the string and all that stuff in the ghost segment. She starts running. She runs into the principal's office and the ghost is there and it possesses the principal, and it goes really well. I think I got about like 35, 38 shots done this entire day, and I felt super pumped. Day 6 ends with me. Yeah, so day 6 ended with me getting to about I want to say. When she gets into the closet and the balls fall down and all that stuff, I think that's where I ended that, I think. Yeah, and I felt super fantastic. I was like, finally, we're getting everything done. Only one problem with this whole week-long progress, I haven't recorded a single bit of dialogue for anybody. So day 7, do we still have any dialogue? I've been talking to Vale and trying to get her to do stuff, and while we meet up on Discord, we end up playing games. We don't record dialogue. And day 7, I was like, look, we need to get this dialogue done. I need it done. And we ended up pushing through. I went and I finished the last 20-ish panels, and I felt fantastic. The whole short's done. Everything's done. I can start editing this. I put it on the timeline. I start getting it ready, but I still have any dialogue to edit with. So I'm like, okay, crap, I need this dialogue done. Luckily, at around 3 p.m. my time, we ended up, or 1 or 3 p.m., we ended up meeting up on Discord.
Are you gonna read the sarcasm part?
Oh, yeah. Sarcasm is not going to get you very far, you know.
Damn, my voice cracked.
And it goes pretty simple. We talk for a bit and we get it done. Honestly, we start talking about the acting and trying to get her to do a really good performance, and I felt really happy about it. The only thing I wasn't happy with was her microphone quality, and that will come up again in a little bit. But I thought maybe I could probably fix it in post, hopefully, because otherwise, ooh. So at the end of day 7, we had finished everything, and I had got my dialogue done pretty quickly. I got my mom's dialogue done pretty quickly. I even recorded the principal's lines myself as kind of like, oh dear, just in case I wasn't super happy with my mom's performance, because I mean, she's not an actress, but I needed somebody to do that voice. And then I started editing it late at night. Editing it. I think I didn't finish editing the short until like 4 in the morning the next day. So technically, day 7 had come and gone, and I'm still not done with this thing. We're on day 8, the day it's due. But luckily, at like 3 or 4 in the morning, I finished editing it. And unfortunately, one of the biggest problems that came about at this stage of the game, for the editing, was the dialogue. Vale's microphone was really bad. Like really, really bad. The quality of my my microphones is like way better. So, like you hear us like super crisp, super clear, and then you hear, and you're just like, ah! So it took me about like it took me about like 2 hours to get that done, and I was just really like, oh my God, please, please, please. I came up with a solution that I wasn't super happy with, but it's one I needed to do, and it basically was, I just had to make everyone else sound worse. Therefore, maybe it'd be thought of like a stylistic choice, like we're hearing as we're watching through a VHS tape. Unfortunately, her audio was still worse than everyone else's, but at least it wasn't as bad to the point where it's like, okay, clearly somebody messed up here. So now it was like, okay, instead of bringing her up all the way up here, I had to bring her up to about right here, and I had to bring everyone else to like right here. So there's still a gap, but it isn't as noticeable of a gap. Things to learn from this whole experience of doing this whole 7-day adventure. You know, preparation is key. Like, you want to do anything, you want to make anything, preparation is key. You want to make sure you get all your things and your ducks in a row. Because if you go in with no plan, you're going to flounder and it's not going to go well. And I think, honestly, for me, I would have probably not have finished on day 3 and 4 if I didn't have my storyboards to look at, and I didn't, know that I wanted a video, and I didn't need a video, and if I needed a video done, because that's day 3 and 4. I spent those days thinking like, okay, what if I do a different video? Like, what if I just do another video on the Enneagram to make sure everyone's got good mics? Unfortunately, Vale was on the East Coast, so she couldn't use my microphone. We had to use hers. But definitely, if you're going to be doing acting or anything like that, make sure you got a good enough mic, because you can do a lot of things in post, but you can't do everything. So definitely that. 3, it was a fun experience. I feel really happy that I finished it and made the whole thing. And on that basis alone, I'm happy with how the product ended up, and I'm happy where I'm at. 4, thumbnails. Thumbnails are fantastic. You guys got to start using thumbnails. It's truly game changer in terms of like what you can and can't do. And I'm so happy I did it. As far as views go, the videos got probably the least amount of views I think my recent videos have gotten. So that is unfortunate, but it happens. Not everyone wants to watch a short film, especially Tether, and it happens. But I think in terms of things, there was advice I heard where it's like, you gotta be proud of the work you make, not how many views you get out of it. And I think that's such a thing that people don't think about. Like, you gotta be happy with the end result. If you're not happy with the end result, then you'll never be happy. If you're only looking for how many views you get, you're gonna be disappointed every time, because sometimes the views just aren't gonna come in. You look at people like Mr. Beast, who's got like, hundreds of millions of views, every video they put out. But look how many people are working behind the scenes. Look how much crazy stuff he's got to do. He's got to give, away $100 million every video, and it's like, it's not sustainable. And if you want to be making stuff, not just for the internet, but just in general, like if you want to be making anything, you have to be proud of your work as it stands, regardless of how everyone feels. Like, I think there's this whole trope of like artists who died broke and alone and failures, and it's really sad, and people are like, oh my god, if only they knew, that like right as soon as they died, everyone would fall in love with their products or their output. But that's such a narrow way to think about it, because you're putting the onus on external validation rather than an internal validation. And I think an internal validation is so much more meaningful, because if you rely on everyone else to tell you you're great, or just to say, hey, that's a good job, it's never gonna happen. I mean, look, maybe one day you will, and your ego inflates, and it's great, and it's fantastic. But you have to do this for you, because if you're doing it for anyone else, you're not doing it for the right reasons, and you're never gonna finish. And for me, this was a nice goal of like, let's just make this thing, let's get it done, let's get it out there. And I feel super happy and super glad I did. And you should maybe not do 7 days, but give yourself a hard deadline for that project you want to make, that thing you really want to do, because there's a reason why you haven't made it yet, right? And don't be afraid that no one will watch it, because more than likely people won't. There's so many videos out there, and if even one person watches the video, I'm happy, because guess what? We made something and they enjoyed it, and that's all that matters. And that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed this. You leave a like, or don't, dislike it if you want to, even, that's possible. Comments whether you like the short or not, or you like the process or not, or what you would have done differently, and what projects you've got going on that you want to try something new with. And yeah, subscribe if you like the video, subscribe if you like the short, subscribe for this, subscribe for that. We're trying to get to 100. We're at 51 subscribers right now, so hit that subscribe button.